My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. It is March 17th, 2021, and we've been occupied now by complete progressives who have fences up around D.C. and they're letting potential Syrian refugees and Iranian 20-year-olds invade our border. So welcome to America. Hammy, did you see? Hammy's with us tonight. Diana's not. She's sick. Hammy, did you see a picture of the kids, the quote-unquote kids at the border?
I don't know. I mean, I think I've seen several pictures.
Yeah, none of them are kids. They're like 30-year-olds.
Well, 30-year-old kids. You can be on your parents' insurance until you're like 27, so maybe they're 20 16-year-olds coming up to find a family.
So this is the problem. See, we are going by the definition of child with the Democrats, and for them, a child goes up to age 26. So, okay, I get it now. Because they keep talking about all these kids. I kept saying, doesn't anybody notice that there's schools emptying out of 13,000 children? Like, how does this just happen? And nobody's like having a major news.
Well, I can hear you. So apparently you're a child until you're 26, but you can vote at 16.
Tweeted at Mitch McConnell this week. I'm so ticked at him.
Hey, welcome, Jody.
Did I leave?
Only in your mind.
You guys.
We missed you.
Just telling you, my internet.
Yeah, that's okay. But you said when you first started talking, so we didn't hear any of it, and I was kind of like, "What was she gonna say?"
Oh.
So what were you gonna say?
I don't even know what I didn't say. But I want to tell you guys, I tweeted Mitch McConnell this week because I'm so angry at him. Does anybody believe he didn't know that whole Secretary of State and Trump threatening was a total lie? I mean, does anybody think that he believed the Washington Post story?
It was, everybody knew it was I believed that it was a lie. I didn't know that it was a lie, but I am infuriated, and I guarantee you that there's a lot of Georgians that are infuriated that Raffensperger didn't say any more about that. He didn't say that's ridiculous. He didn't say anything like that. I don't know where they're getting this from. He didn't say any of that. That's what he should have said, and he didn't.
Well, unless he approved the leak.
Right.
So this is there's a couple of things with this that have been trending on Twitter the past couple of days, and this is a problem that we have with the MSM these days, and the supposed investigative work that they do, and getting corroborating, excuse my French here, sources, and so you have, what was it? It was WAPO, it was like LA Times, I think New York Times. There was a couple of others that all came out at the same time and said, yes, we've independently corroborated this story. We've spoken to our inside sources, and they've corroborated this story. And for all we know, and what I assume, is that they were all the exact same source, right?
I agree.
If you
absolutely
look back there, I don't know if any is slightly separate topic, but if you guys read the book by Papadopoulos, when he was talking about being railroaded by the FBI.
Should I?
Right.
And part of what he talks about in there is the dissemination of the dossier. Remember when BuzzFeed came out with that? And at the exact same time, I believe it was Yahoo who also came out with it. And Yahoo said, well, we were waiting for someone else to come out with it first, but now that they have, we've also independently corroborated the story. And it turns out later that the corroboration I can't talk tonight. The corroboration for both stories came from Steele in the first place. He was the one who went to both of them.
Yeah.
So the only thing that the MSM requires these days is that someone actually say to them on the phone, oh, yeah, I can say that that's the same story. It doesn't matter that they're not actually corroborating it, that they're actually the same person that told someone else the story. That's independent journalism now. That's independent corroboration for them now to head and run these stories.
There has always been a canon, I guess, of journalistic ethics. Always. It's been abandoned from time to time, yellow journalism, blah, 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 right? And we're in one of those times because that is antithetical. Doing that, using those sources, playing sources like that are not sources. You don't even try to corroborate it. A spook says, I'm the spook that wrote it, it's true. And you take that. I mean, that's insane and it's unethical. But we live in a time of no ethics. Lawyers don't live by their ethics. Journalists don't live by their ethics. Doctors don't live by their ethics. In the military. Sorry, Hammy.
No, I think we're going to talk about that tonight.
Yeah, that's why we're talking about it. In fact, we were going to take a break this week. We weren't going to have a show. And this topic made us all so livid that we were like, oh my God, we have to talk about this on the air. Because it's
oh my God.
It's just a bastardization of the military and everything that it stands for. Everything.
Yes. But speaking of bastards, I'm telling you, McConnell had to have known this, and he lost the Senate in Georgia. He had 2 Senate seats that had he come out and said something like, I'm not buying this story. I want an investigation. And he said anything at all. We would right now not have this insane amount of bills that have passed that are so progressive. I don't know how we're ever going to go back.
Well, that's the point.
Yeah. McConnell sucks.
Well, I mean, so you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And I'm not trying to play devil's advocate here. But, remember when we said, things like when Kavanaugh was running, we said, right, where's the proof, all this other kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then, now that, this stuff is being, talked about with Cuomo, everybody's like, resign. And I'm kind of sitting here going, let's kind of wait for the proof. So I don't know if McConnell was saying, let me wait for the proof before I say yay or nay, right? I don't know. But again, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you come out and you go, I absolutely don't believe this is true about President Trump, he's going to be, castigated as, being just a Trumper if it came out and somebody released it and, there it was, word for word, just like they said, right? On the other side of the coin, if he goes along with it immediately and says, well, this is a terrible thing for him to do, then, that's my best bet.
You would think, though, this was a big deal. This was the Senate, 2 Senate seats. You would have thought he had got off his ass, gone to Georgia, sat down and talked to Roethlisberger, and said, or is it Roethlisberger or Raffensperger?
Raffin.
You would have thought he would have talked to him and at least said, okay, give me something to work with here. Is this your interpretation of how that went down? Or I don't even know. I just don't think McConnell even cared. I don't know if he was being told by the left that they were going to work across the aisle more if he just shut up and let it go away. I don't know.
Here's what I either think they're all walking around in a daze or they're waiting for these guys to implode. Because their reaction does not match what they're facing. None of them, even Nunes and Gates, it just doesn't, the two don't match to me. So one or the other are the only only things I can come up with.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Yeah. It's really bizarre. And even your senators that lost, they're mum. I mean, if I were one of them, I would have been on the news that night saying, what else was a lie? This is a lie. What else was a lie? My God, we really do need an investigation into this, especially now that we know that, what was it? It was a huge number. I for some reason in my head I have 400,000, but maybe that's just some random number. But of the ballots that they said had zero accountability, they'd lost chain of command of in Georgia.
So the Washington Post story on January 5th had the full tape and the transcript. So I don't even know where all this is coming from. They didn't know, and we just found out.
Yeah, that's weird.
No, well, wait a minute. Okay, so
full
that's news to me, because my understanding was that all they had was what's her name? Fuchs, whatever her name was. That basically was the one who called them, and so she's like assistant to the Secretary of State or something, and she was
deputy
called,
secretary.
and gave them this line. Now, her claim is, of course, that this was passed on to her from the Secretary of State, that he told her this, right?
CYA.
She was simply, so she was simply passing that on, which then goes back to, what was that conversation? And did he? That's another reason I kind of look at it and go, did he actually say to her, "Hey, this is fine. Why don't you go ahead and call WAPO with this?" Right? And so that's all they had. And at some point in time, somebody said, "We want an investigation of this." They were ordered to retain all records, and someone tried to delete the damn thing. I don't know that there was a transcript ever sent to anybody. And so they tried to delete the thing, and it was actually found in a trash folder because people are stupid.
Well, you know how the internet never forgets?
Well,
I tweeted it on my timeline. It was archived. Okay, so it's been archived like 4 times. The last time it was archived was a month ago. So, I mean, I'll go look at it again to make sure I'm not lying to anybody, but...
Liar.
Right? I know. I mean, I wouldn't put it past me or anything, but I'm going to look at it again while we're talking. You guys keep talking. And
okay.
See.
Okay. Well, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating because if you bring up anything at all from the election and you try to talk about it, you're a crazy person you can't even say anything about it, or you get warned on Facebook or Twitter. I don't know. It's nuts.
Everything is racist.
Yeah.
There's a good segue.
All right.
No, it's just
okay.
totally
Moving on.
Totally off topic. Just this. But have you seen all the stuff? I'm sure you have all the stuff with that shooting that went down.
Yes.
Okay, so just let me update you guys. This is an archived copy from January 3rd, 2021 at 9:15 p.m. The Post has published Trump's full phone call with Georgia election officials. Listen to the audio and read the transcript.
Was it the same call, though? Was that the same call with the see, that's with the election officials. Was that same call with the Secretary of State? Because the Secretary of State was the one where supposedly he was telling them to go find ballots.
With Georgia.
Right.
Secretary
Find
of State.
Find the fraud. Isn't that what the phrase was, or something like that?
Yeah, it actually says that in the article. So this article is one of the many places that they made the claim.
Well, apparently there were several phone calls with
but why are they saying they didn't know and they hadn't heard it, and you have a transcript that you had someone do and wrote a story about? Why are you saying this now? Or you can't memory hold this. It's on archive.is or Today or any number of extensions. I mean, I don't even know what to say about this, Hammy. What fucking world are we living in?
I don't know.
You said a swear word.
I know. You're getting salty, Lou.
Yeah, salty Lou.
The more they do crap like this, the saltier I'm going to get. I mean,
I know it. It's so I have to tell you, I can't even watch TV hardly. I can't listen to any political anything. I'm so thoroughly disgusted with everyone that such a disappointment. Then to be disappointed in your own military makes it even worse.
Yeah. This is, I mean, I don't know when we're going to launch into this, but be prepared.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Twice for like 30 minutes.
Oh, I don't know. Did we ever get that, Lou? Did you ever see my thing about maybe playing the Cruz bit? We don't. If you didn't, it's fine. But Ted Cruz talking about this.
No. Did you drop it in a DM? Because I can play it.
Yeah, I did.
Can play it from there.
Go ahead, Hammy. Tell. Why? Okay, Hammy, give everybody the background and what's going on.
Well, I mean, I'm sure everybody knows, but the basic background is that I think it was Friday night, right? So whatever it was last week, started even earlier than that. We have the International Women's Day or something like that, which I like to call International Sandwich Day. But anyway, nobody might eat sandwiches. What is it?
Sandwich.
Sandwich. So, Biden. I can't use the word. I can't use the P word and Biden in the same sentence. I just can't do it. So, Biden's up there, and I guess he had a promotion for a couple of these generals who happen to be of the female persuasion, and that was his big deal for International Women's Day. And then he goes off on some stupid tangent. Now I don't know who wrote this speech for him because it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But he starts talking about how we're doing so much great stuff for women in the military, how we're we're changing hairstyles, and and then he mentioned something about pregnant, flight suits or flight suits that are fit to women that are pregnant somewhere. And then he talked about some body armor, which body armor I agree with, right? If you're going to have women that are going to be in a position where they could be, shot or something while they're making a sandwich, they need to be the correct body armor, because you don't want to have, a situation happen where you don't get your sandwich. So anyhow, he's talking about this, and there actually was some picture I saw. I don't remember who showed it. I don't even know if it was on screen. I doubt it was, but there was some picture, and it was, this pregnant woman in a flight suit. Now, let me tell you, first of all, I know, and someone had said this on Twitter and Facebook or whatever else, was, women in the Air Force wear flight suits for more reasons than just obviously flying jets and stuff. My sort of point there is that flight suits are worn generally in some sort of aviation capacity, and whether you're on a plane as a load master, or you're a pilot, or whether you're whatever, there's certain situations where I think that in the military you need to regard everything that happens in the military as potentially a dangerous situation, because everything the military does is designed to prepare us for war, right? So that it's not, just a little, kind of, jaunt across town. It's not a flight, to go see your friends or something along these lines. So in any capacity that women are operating in the military, if they're at any sort of, potential for, if they're pregnant and there's any sort of potential for harming themselves or their child, and I'm not talking about that they're in some sort of diminished capacity or anything like that. I'm just saying that I don't think that that's appropriate for them to be in those roles. Put them in a slightly different role while they're pregnant, and then bring them back. Okay, I mean, right. But they're definitely not going to be able to sit in a fighter. Okay, that's just not going to happen.
Right.
And so Tucker,
it's a medical condition. If you had a medical condition like you were recovering from knee surgery, you would be put in a different capacity for a short period of time as well, correct?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Right, yeah.
So it's just a medical condition, that's all.
I mean, if I had an ulcer, I probably wouldn't be able to fly, right? I mean, there were enough things. If I went to see a dentist when I was a Navy pilot, they were going to down me for 24, 48 hours at least afterwards. If I had any kind of surgery, you were probably down for a minimum of 2 weeks or so afterwards, even no matter how minor it may have been. Right. Because they want to make sure that you've got all the drugs and everything else out of your system. So anyhow, all that aside, so Tucker made some comment about this, and there was a couple of things that he said, and I don't think that there was anything wrong with any of them. But one of them he said specifically was this business with having flight suits for pregnant women is a mockery to our military. Now, the left ran with that. And instead of taking it at face value, exactly what he said, that the concentration of our military should not be on making flight suits for pregnant women. It should maybe be on protecting pregnant women that happen to be in the military. Maybe making sure that they're safe and that their child is born safely, and that they're and that we value them, so we bring them back later after they have their child or something. People started concentrating on the fact that these pregnant people are women. And, they didn't say anything about those other non-gender specific types, but that these women, that this was, anti-woman because he said that. And then that was one thing. That was fine. You expect that. You expect the stupid. But what ended up happening that got really bad was when official military accounts started getting involved. Now, the one that most people saw was the Second Marine Expeditionary Force, and I think it was like their information office or something like that.
Yeah.
Like whoever their PAO is, essentially, had some tweets and thought they were probably being funny. Like maybe they used
right.
Maybe they thought they were Wendy's. And at one point they called Tucker a boomer, and then later on they said something about, if you haven't been pregnant and in the military, let us know when
then
you have
sit down, or something like that, yeah.
To which Virginia Kruta came back and said, well, by the way, I have, and let me tell you what's really going on. She was the first one that I saw that they sort of somewhat apologized to, and even that apology was incredibly weak. So the other thing was a Command Master Sergeant from Space Command. Now, he was actually a Marine as well. And this is really bugging me that all this stuff seems to track back up through these Marines. But he had gone online and he'd done this whole thing, about how we value the women in our and he went after Tucker as well specifically. If you trace it up, this stuff actually ended up going above. So we said something about the second MEF and whatever their PAO officer, and then there was like a lieutenant general or a major general, I think.
Yeah, General Paul Funk.
Yeah, and all of it was all the way up through this one chain of command that we're all getting into the act here. So now I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this and I'm going, this is bad. This is, when you had some PAO that at first I saw it and I went, okay, it's probably some second lieutenant, right out of college,
right.
They maybe were in ROTC or something. But other than that, they were, they just got their degree in feminist studies or some crap.
Right. They don't know any better.
Join the Air Force. Because they were working at Wendy's in high school. So anyhow, this is, I was kind of sitting there going, okay, wait till this gets up the chain of command. Somebody's going to go, this is really stupid. And I saw that actual chain of command promoting this stuff. And, a lot of people came back and said, well, they're not really being political. Here's the thing. And this is what I wish people that really actually did understand the military would appreciate. And even if you haven't been in the military, if you have if you've studied anything about American history, if you understand our republic form of government, if you understand the way the framers, really, framed the founders really framed the government up, there's a tradition. There is UCMJ, Uniform Code of Military Justice, so there's actual rules, and there is a very clearly defined understanding that goes back all the way to the beginning of our country when it comes to the military. And George Washington actually even reinforced this himself. And that is that our military not only is 100% subject to the lawful orders given by elected civilians, right?
Yes.
But they are also have to maintain an appearance of complete unbiased approach to carrying out those orders.
Right. Yeah. Apolitical.
Right. So because you never want the when we look at our country and we say we have excuse me, when you look at our country and you say we elect all these people to be in Congress and to be in the House, and obviously we elect a president, the president's a commander-in-chief, and we recognize that the military is under that commander-in-chief. One of the things that you have to believe is that the military will operate according to, and I know I said it a second ago, but I'm going to repeat it, the lawful orders of those elected civilians without question and without bias.
Right.
When they express bias right now, even if it doesn't appear to be political, in other words, they weren't going after a senator or a congressman or something like that, but they were expressing a political bias to a civilian.
Yes.
Even though at this point in time, that bias is supported by the party in power, so you therefore would look at it and go, well, they certainly will still carry out the orders of the party in power, right? Because they're you have this major general, lieutenant general, I can't remember which, 4-star general. So
the Paul Funk one?
Yeah. So you have this general making these comments, and you go, those are obviously politically biased comments, but he's making them while he works for this current president, so it's sort of supportive of this president's ideology. Therefore, you don't question whether or not he would carry out the orders from that president. What happens with the next president? Let's say the next president is Republican. You now have a general in place, potentially, but you certainly have colonels, these senior enlisted folks. You obviously have somebody in the officer corps writing stupid stuff on Twitter. You have to now question the bias of the officer corps. The bias of the military. Because now you go, and I remember that guy. That's the person who promoted a political agenda on Twitter. Do I know for sure that person is going to act according to what the Constitution says, that they will carry out all lawful orders essentially from the President of the United States? From those
I would totally think no. I seriously.
Right. You have no reason to believe it or not. So I know that those people were in place 6 months ago. I know those people were in place a year ago.
Yep.
Now you have to go, well, was there anything? So we've been questioning the FBI for years because Lord knows we've been seeing lots of political crap coming out of there. CIA, right? Everybody.
Right.
Now we're questioning the military as well. Do you realize how much that washes away at the foundation of the confidence that the American people put in the one freaking institution that while you so wanted to go, man, that's really great, we know they support Trump, or man, that's really great, we know they supported Bush or something like that. And they're doing what they have to do because Obama's in office.
Yeah, that's why I'm so. That's why I personally was so pissed about it, because I'm like, you're the last thing left that I halfway trust, and just like you said, after Obama, I halfway trust you, but at least I halfway trust you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's none.
Yeah, we don't trust them anymore. So I'm sitting here now. How does this affect the American people as a whole? Well, there's half the country that's cheering them on because they're so freaking stupid that they can't realize that if the roles were reversed, if this is now the way that the military is allowed to act, if the military is now allowed to jump into the political public square and state whatever their opinions are, that they have to be ready for that to happen the next time that there's like a Republican president and somebody has found the last remaining conservative general to promote. Imagine if the conservative general had been tweeting like that. Sure, and they won't put up with it. You think about what happened last year. So when President Trump went out, and they had tried to light that church on St. John's, I believe it was, church on fire.
Yes.
Now, he went out the next day. They had cleared out a whole bunch of people from around there, and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs walked out there with him as basically just saying, because I have troops that are involved in this, because we actually have National Guardsmen that are out here for reasons of trying to keep these crowds back and such, I'm walking out, because I am the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. So if we're
right.
But he was just
God
on Twitter and Facebook and by the MSM to the point where he came back and actually apologized.
I know. I was so pissed he apologized.
Right?
Yeah.
I would expect that that there be someone from the military out there representing the troops that are standing around at that point.
Right. I want a patent. I want somebody that the press says shit about that says basically quietly fuck you, but in public is like, well, I'm doing my job, and ignores it. I mean, that's what I want. But I mean, we need to take a break When we come back, we're going to play what Ted Cruz says. We're going to continue this topic, and we'll go from there.
Get up, get your hand up, red wine.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. Spring will be here soon, so if buying a new home is on your to-do list, right now is the time to call Quicken Loans. Learn about which mortgage options make sense for you and get a jump on your competition. With our exclusive Rate Shield approval, the low rate you lock today is protected for up to 90 days while you shop for your new home. With a Rate Shield approval, if rates go up, your low rate stays locked. But if rates go down, you get that new, even lower rate. Either way, you win. Talk to us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to take advantage. Here's another great reason to work with us. For a record 9 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Again, to lock in today's low mortgage interest rate and get the security of our exclusive Rate Shield approval, call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Hi, welcome to the Subway ad for the new Sesame Ginger Glazed Chicken Signature Wrap. How would you like it?
I'll take a...
Sports announcer at home?
Yeah, how'd you...
We just know.
My wife picks up the new Signature Wrap. It's got double the rotisserie-style chicken mix with a sesame ginger glaze. She appears annoyed at me, but she shrugs it off. Those sweet and savory flavors are calling her name. She lifts the wrap and... she takes the bite! Incredible! And now she's closing the door on my... Subway, make it what you want.
Limited time only at participating restaurants. Double meat based on average 6-inch sub.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Get up, get your man of the red wine. I can't get up out of bed with this crazy feeling in my head. I said, get up, get your man of the
We're not back. We are back. We're not back. Do we have the Ted Cruz?
Yeah, we have Ted Cruz.
Okay, let's listen to Ted.
Wow, we actually have Ted Cruz. Cool.
Isn't that awesome? He
Yeah,
loves me.
He does.
Yeah, thanks, Hammy. Okay. Oh, no, that's not it.
He said.
Sits here with me. I'm Vince Colonnese for the Daily Caller. Senator, thanks for taking some time out of your day.
Vince, it's great to be with you. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you back. So one of the reasons I was really interested in speaking with you is because this past weekend you sent a letter to the Commandant of the Marine Corps saying that you want a meeting with him because the military over the course of the past week released a series of messages all dedicated to one thing, which was attacking a talk show host in the United States. That would be Tucker Carlson of the Fox News Channel, also the founder of our website, The Daily Caller. Why did you demand that meeting with the Commandant?
Well, sure. So there is a long tradition, really going back to the founding of this country, of separating the military from partisan political battles. You know, you think about third world countries, banana republics, where the military seizes control of the government and the military. You have engaged in political battles. We don't do that here, and there are restrictions in our Defense Department, quite right restrictions, that limit the ability of military leaders, and in particular servicemen and women in uniform, from engaging in partisan politics, because we believe in civilian control of the military. We don't want to see our military politicized and attacking the political opponents of whoever's in office. And the behavior of the Pentagon this past week didn't meet that standard. And it started when Tucker Carlson on his show criticized some decisions that the military had made. And you could agree with Tucker's criticism, you can disagree with Tucker's criticism. But under our system, journalists get to criticize the military. People in politics get to argue about defense policy back and forth. And the military leadership doesn't engage in the political battle as partisans.
Okay, I'm going to leave it at that because this is another 6 minutes.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah. I think everybody gets the gist of it. But have we heard yet? Did that meeting go down?
He's had 3 days. I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything yet either. Steve, did you hear anything yet, Hammy?
No, I haven't heard anything. And the Commandant of the Marine Corps is under no obligation to go meet with Ted Cruz. He doesn't report to him and doesn't have to. Apparently, actually, the only person they would have to apparently meet with would be Pelosi. She apparently runs the military now. We didn't know that.
No,
and it's not
you're kidding. Joint services or armed services in both houses or have oversight, right?
Okay, so here's the deal. They have oversight, right? Just like they have oversight of a ton of other things in this country.
Right.
But the military is not under the legislative branch. It's under the executive branch.
No, but
so
they
just
can
like anything else, they can say, I want you to come talk to me because we have oversight, but he's under no obligation to. Now, it looks really bad if he doesn't, right? And he probably actually should. And under normal circumstances, that would be a walk up the hill that they would definitely, have. So I don't know.
So I think one thing I was kind of chatting about a little bit with you guys when we went to break. That's the other half of this entire thing. And somebody had said something in the chat. We kind of felt like the military was the last bastion of sort of normalcy, apolitical, groups in the country. And now we question that, which was sort of in line with what we were saying before. But the other part of it is, as a military person, and then hopefully civilians can see this, or we'll figure it out, is that you now have to question the direction that these men and women who have been promoted to these, especially flag officer rank and senior enlisted ranks, are taking with our military. Remember, the chief end of our military is to defend the United States from all enemies, foreign and domestic. That's it. There's nothing else. There's no social justice experiments. There's no, psychological things. There's no, make everybody feel good about themselves. The military's job is to defend the country. So you then have to go and say, all right, what are these people who are running the military today that we now are questioning their own sort of political biases? What are they doing with that military? Is everything that they are doing leading to increasing the efficiency and the capability of our military to carry out its one sole purpose in this world to defend the United States. If that's not what they're doing, then we now have the potential for, and I believe actually already have, a degraded military.
Yeah.
When you have a military where you are putting when you're trying to say, well, physical requirements don't matter anymore because women can't pass, some physical test. If you have a military where you're promoting people based on their race or sex or whatever else, you are not carrying out that mission of saying we are only doing whatever is in the interest of ensuring that we are the most mighty and fearful fighting force in the world and can defend this country to the best of our ability. And someone said it the other day, and I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was on one of Tucker's shows. I think we have to be concerned. We've gotten a little comfortable, even though everybody goes, it was 20 years or almost or whatever that we've been in. Well, it has been 20 years in Afghanistan and Iraq, right? And this idea that we just sort of walk in and take over these days, right? Anywhere we go in the world, we take in enough of our, stealth bombers and stealth fighters and our really great, missiles and our really great, other technology, and we just go win wars. That's all it takes, right? We just go do it. We haven't fought anybody. Okay. Now, this is not to, please don't take this as me denigrating any war that we've been in for the last 20 years and the fighting men and women that have been out there doing it. They do an absolutely fantastic, terrific job, and they risk their lives every day. But we have not fought as a nation a real war against a real military power that would fully test the limits of our capabilities. And those military powers are obviously Russia, China, and pretty much whoever they sell their stuff to.
Right. Iran.
It's more than a third world nation. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So all this confidence that we have, which gives people this sort of sense of invincibility and this idea that we can concentrate on other things in the military, right? Well, our military is great. All right, well, let's make a social justice experiment out of it. They're very comfortable sitting back behind their desk, pushing buttons and saying somebody will go out there and launch a cruise missile, or we've got
a drone.
We've got drones up there flying around that can drop bombs,
right?
And harm missiles and whatever else on radar sites. This is the comfort level that they're at now. And
do you think compared to when you were in the military, do you think they have the same, and I'm not saying this to bash anybody in the military. I'm simply asking, do you think they have the same outlook, like laying down your life, following orders without question, that kind of a thing? Do you think they're more like?
I said to I made some. I posted a tweet back in September of last year, and I reposted it just a couple of days ago, because I said I fear for our military for the damage that Obama did to it.
Yeah.
In the 8 years that he was in, with his ability to promote certain generals, and most people don't realize that your highest level of generals in the Pentagon, the ones who drive policy for the rest of the military, for the individual armed forces, are actually appointed by the president. And they, so they could go from they're a 1-star general, and he just really happens to like him. He could promote them all the way to the 4-star general as general.
Well, didn't he fire a bunch too, or just get rid of them?
It's not uncommon for them to do that either. People don't realize how political it really is at that level.
Right.
And I said I fear, because once those people were in place, and they were in place for 8 years, they were able to drive down a lot of this garbage through the military. Now, do I believe that, and I think I was even careful in one of those tweets to say this, do I believe that when you get to the rank and file individual fighting man and fighting woman in any branch of the service that you choose, that they are, by and large, 99.999% of them, looking at their job and saying, I want to do my job to the absolute best of my ability. I want to do this. I believe in defending my country, even if they have varying political beliefs. They see themselves in a role of defending their country. Yes, I absolutely do. And I think you would also take that and you'd go, okay, do we get to some colonel level, right? Or brigadier general level? Do they still do the same thing? I believe they technically probably do. And this is part of the problem, that they've been taught that this somehow or another will make the military better because they've bought into the social experiment part of it. They've bought into this ideology that the military is an extension of the civilian world in uniform.
Hey, let me ask you a question about that, though.
Yeah.
So when I'm looking at how they were responding and how their reaction to this particular event on Tucker Carlson that they took way too seriously, it seemed to me as though what they've been taught is that this is what honor is about, right? So that's a key component of the military, and they've replaced other honor with this particular brand of honor, a very political honor. That's what it seemed like to me, and I'm curious what you think about that.
I agree.
I disagree. Yeah, I mean, there's certainly an aspect of this that is a little bit of gold star and who gets a cookie. And that's sort of the reward basis of if you follow along with some of this critical race theory BS and other stuff that's being shoved down the throats and that everybody's the same regardless of sex or gender or whatever else. That's a very important thing. Those are important aspects of our military because our military is somehow stronger if we open it. And this is the back door that they've used this entire time.
Yeah.
If you keep out or you somehow or another restrict who is going to operate in certain parts of the military, whether it be combat, whether it be flying jets or riding tanks or whatever, or generals or anything else, if you restrict that based on any of your previously conceived notions of what it takes to do that, whether that be physical or experience level or anything else, you are now limiting the military because you're limiting opening up that to other people that could bring something in that would improve the military. The idea being that if you, in the past, of course, that would have been like gays, right? You would keep if you're keeping gays out of the military, you're limiting the ability of that really great pilot that may be coming and fly that would save the day, or that really great person that wants to serve the country.
Right.
So they've approached it from that under that auspice of we must incorporate all of this stuff out here because it gives the military greater potential for having that cream rise to the top. But it doesn't work that way at the end because what you end up doing is making exceptions on a constant basis in order to further incorporate any of those sort of liberal ideas and ideologies. And it shows up when you go, well, 60% of the women failed the fitness test, so we'll just scrap the fitness test. Or we'll get rid of that or whatever.
So that's what. So Hammy, that's the approach that they've taken with it. That's how they've indoctrinated the troops. But the source of it, what do they really believe? How nefarious is the source?
Well, I mean, I
realize I'm putting you on the spot. Sorry.
No, I know. I mean, I've questioned this as well. So this is it's a good question. And what you're really saying there is how nefarious is that upper level echelon of the flag corps, right?
Yeah,
essentially the flag officers.
Yes, and
yeah. And I don't know the answer to that. It concerns me greatly that we're not talking about Patton and Marshall and those guys. We are talking about people that seem to view the military differently, and I don't believe that most of them are thinking to themselves, well, the military doesn't need to be a really fighting force. I think they do genuinely believe that including this social aspect of our society into the military provides an avenue for somehow or another empowering it. That's the military guys that I believe that. Now, wait a minute. If we want to switch over to civilians, that's a whole different story. If you want to get over to the Democrat Party and what they think, their biggest concern, their what they are achieving. Their biggest concern is a military that might step in and stop them when they have pushed too far against in undermining the Constitution. Their biggest fear the entire time Trump was in the presidency was that the military might actually step in and go, "Whoa, guys, you're pushing too far. You're doing something. You're trying to remove our commander in chief, through force or something along those lines." And I'm not trying to be conspiratorial here. I think they genuinely fear that if they have pushed far too far, that there could be at a point where the military says, we only have to follow those orders that are constitutional. What you're doing is unconstitutional. Asking us to support that is unconstitutional. Therefore, we're not going to do it.
Yeah, well, this is a streetlight theory. Yeah, well, and this is the streetlight.
If they can get people in who will not do that, then that I sincerely believe, from the civilian standpoint, that is their end goal.
Well, yeah, and to indoctrinate them into the cause, so that the cause is more important than the Constitution. I definitely see that. I mean, I see what you're saying there. I don't think it's conspiratorial. I think they push further than they know they should a lot.
Look, I think the biggest fear that any liberals have had with the military is that line: support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, both foreign and domestic.
Well, they know that they have them under their control now, apparently.
Yeah. But they have been trying to drive that. So we know how insidious, if you see how insidious everything has been with regards to education, all the way from preschool up through universities now, and that they're turning out all these mushy-brained little, idiots, that this is the same thing that they are doing, that they're the same way they're trying to encroach on the military. So they take the officer corps that graduates from those universities where they've been training them this way the entire time, including at the academies, by the way, and push them out there. So again, I can easily divide those up and say I believe those members of the military believe they're actually doing the best thing. They may be wrong, but I believe they actually think. They've been indoctrinated to think this is the right thing to do. From the civilian standpoint, and especially the upper echelon of the Democratic Party, I 100% believe that they have tried to achieve an end goal of ensuring that the military will never be an impediment to them getting around the Constitution.
I think you're right, and it's so sad. It's just, oh God, this poor country. This is why we weren't going to do a show this week. Diane and I were so thoroughly disgusted with everything. But yeah, I mean, we've got to talk about it.
Yeah, I was more angry about people not talking about it than I was about them actually doing it, to be honest. I felt a lot better when people started talking about it.
It has
definitely sad, isn't it?
Yeah. It's definitely shown a light on it. That's, in one way, that's kind of good. You do have Republicans suddenly waking up and going, "Whoa, wait a minute! We thought the military was good,"
yeah, right?
And questioning it. Look, how many of you would have sat there in 2016 and said, "I don't trust a damn thing that walks out the door of the FBI"? Right? You probably you talked about the swamp, but you still sort of believed the FBI was above it, right? We all still got kind of this J. Edgar Hoover thing in our heads.
Yeah.
But now, so where are you?
I don't believe any of it.
3 years with the military. That's scary.
Yeah.
That is some scary shit right there.
Well, Vindman, Colonel Vindman, wasn't it Vindman? Isn't that how you say his name? That swarmy little potato.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Ukrainian Vindman.
Swarmy.
Yeah. He is, to me, he epitomizes the swamp and the military. The DOD, right? Or what was he?
Yeah, it was DOD and National Security Council. And
yeah.
He's
to me, he was poster child.
Yep.
Yeah, disgusting. Just disgusting. Well, I don't know. I'd be real curious to see what's going to happen next week if Ted Cruz does have that meeting and what comes out of it. And I hope, if anything comes out of it, because in 2012, there was, what was it? It was a Marine who had been tweeting about Obama. Facebook about Obama, and he was discharged.
there's a slightly, so this is the gray area. The gray area is, well, they weren't, attacking like a senator or congressman or the president. They were going after a civilian.
Yeah, right.
That, again, I think personally, because it's expressed two things, a political bias and totally poor head work and totally poor investigative skills, because they obviously didn't actually pay attention to what he said.
Even said, right? They didn't even listen.
That it is that they still need to be removed. They won't be. And that pitiful excuse that one, command master sergeant and his silly thing that doing video from his car.
Yes. Oh my God. Well, they said the DOD did scold. Supposedly the DOD, McConneville or whatever. I don't remember. It looks like McConnell, but it's not. But he scolded the general, the Funk. I guess he told him, enough with the tweeting. So,
well, you're talking about our new Secretary of Defense, right?
Austin?
No. Is that who McConneville is? I don't even know who that is now.
No, it's somebody else. I think you're talking about he's the chief of staff, the secretary's chief of staff. Is that who it was?
It's not. It's not Austin. Is that? It's not that guy. This is just somebody in the DOD that brought, I guess, Paul Funk in, General Funk in, and basically said, "I've seen enough Twitter. That's enough." That was according to several Fox News reporters.
Well, that's excellent.
Yeah, but he was, I'm sure, gently scolded. I don't know that does anything in the grand scheme of stuff, but there you go.
It doesn't do anything much more than going, "Hey, look, you're awakening the sleeping dragon."
Yeah. This is going on your permanent record, buddy.
No, I'm saying,
yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, we gained some insight because they were so stupid.
Yes, you are. Now that is, I guess that's one thing I say about Trump being in office. Trump's behavior, there's so many times I wanted to put a muzzle on him. But the one thing we learned in the last 4 years was how bad the swamp really was. Because I thought it was, I didn't believe it. I kind of believed that there were some Vindmans, but I didn't really think it, like Comey, I didn't think everybody was disgusting. So at least we have that. Thankfully, and for this incident too, we have Tucker Carlson to thank that he exposed all that.
Yep, and we need to get out of here.
Well, all right. Well, thank you, Hammy, for joining us. We're going to try to talk Hammy into joining us more often once Diane and I get busy here. So I don't know if he knows that.
I don't believe that Diane. I've known y'all for years, but I now believe that either Diane or Di doesn't actually exist. You're never.
I don't know.
Say Joe Quinn.
Joe Quinn?
Yeah.
I'm not Diane. Yeah. I can't say it like she does. She says it the best. All right. Well, thanks, guys, for tuning in to us tonight. We really appreciate it. And join us. We'll see if next week Hammy's on, and we'll see if Diane actually shows up. So you guys have a great night, and happy St. Patrick's Day.
See you guys.
Timberland.